What's up, New York Mets Nation, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry. Friday. I hope everybody's doing well. It's freaking freezing here in Pennsylvania and everywhere, pretty much across the country, I guess. I've seen snow down there in Florida. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm sure it snows in parts of Florida every year, but I think it reached a little bit further south than normal, and Uh, crazy weather right now. Crazy weather is -9 the other morning after work, and ugh, yeah. But anyway, we talk about the cold and all that good stuff, and in a little bit we'll talk about Pete Alonso and Toronto, Canada, and will he return? Won't he return? This, that, the other. The same stuff that we've been talking about since the last day of the season, since the final out was made there in the during the World Series. That's so still as the world turns, it's like a goddamn soap opera here. But anyway, since the last time I've been on, the Mets made a couple moves. They brought in AJ Minter to kind of help solidify that bullpen, and they re-signed Jesse Winker, and so all that was kind of brought about supposedly by the Mets telling Pete Alonso, uh, "Thank you, but no thank you. We are out. We're done. We're gonna reallocate the funds we have set off to the side. For you, we're gonna reallocate those funds, use them on some other pressing needs that we have, and that's what it looked like. The money that they had set aside for Pete, they started spending, and one was AJ Minter, which is a great signing for the Mets. It's not what everybody was wanting. Tanner Scott, he goes to the Dodgers, which it's absolutely amazing. The talent that team is stacking, unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, if the Dodgers don't win the World Series, or at the very least, if they don't make the World Series, it'd be a disaster, absolute disaster. It'd be just a monstrous upset, in my opinion. Anyway, it'd just be an absolute uh, shock, and I can't wait for the day. Yeah, it's just when you see a team stack that kind of talent, just constantly one on top of the other, and uh, constructing the contracts the way they are, which is, hey, that's their right. It's there's it's well within the rules. It is what it is. But you just have that feeling that they'll end up falling flat on their face, and maybe not every year, but you just kind of hope this year, just because it's all seems to be there. All it's the way they're constructed is it seems like every piece is in place. Every piece is in place. It appears, and just they have 12 starting pitchers now. It's unbelievable. And every one of those pitchers can pitch on any major league rotation. It's not like they have 12 starting pitchers and half of those starting pitchers are minor leaguers. It's not even like that. So it's absolutely amazing. And then of course the bats and the bullpen, it's just unbelievable, really unbelievable. But it's that's the way baseball operates with no salary cap. So that they have the luxury tax, and I feel like we'll talk about that in a little bit. Not in depth. I'm not Mr. Numbers or anything like that. It's not my strong suit, and I don't even know if I really have a strong suit to begin with. In any part of conversation or any topic or whatever, I'm not really strong in any area. So maybe I am. I don't know what the hell. Sitting here bashing myself. But anyway, moving on from that, the Mets add AJ Minter to the bullpen. Uh, 2 years, $22 million in opt out after one season. So the deal with AJ Minter is uh, hurt. Apparently, he's been dealing with a hip issue uh, for a little while. From some reports that I heard, it came to a head last season with the Braves, but he's been dealing with it longer than that. And I couldn't really see specifics. I couldn't really see specifics as to when maybe he started having hip issues or whatever. But I mean, you just look at his stats, his numbers are very good, very good. So you can't really pinpoint like, oh, you can see things are starting to dip here or whatever. Uh, so it was bothering him, but it wasn't bothering him to the point until last season where he just couldn't go anymore. He just couldn't do it. So, and I did hear a couple of reports where they likened his hip injury to a lot like what um, David Peterson had with his hip injury last season, and he came back. Geez, I don't know what month it was, May or June or something like that, where he had the surgery. And I wouldn't say, I guess, I don't know if it was a lengthy rehab, but just it took a while for him to come back from. But AJ Mitchell had the surgery last August. He shut it down in August last season. He missed from May was it May 31st to July something? I have it written down here. Missed from May 30th to July 2nd. Uh, just to kind of rehab the hip and see if it gets better instead of worse. And he came back to the Braves bullpen and pitched well, but just couldn't pitch with the pain anymore. He shut it down and had surgery in August. So in 2024, he pitched in 39 games to a 2.62 ERA, 34 and a third innings pitched. He gave up 6 home runs, which tied a career high. 11 walks, 35 strikeouts, 1.019 WHIP. 6.3 hits per nine, 1.6 home runs per nine, which is a career high. 2.9 walks per nine, 9.2 strikeouts per nine. That was a career low for him. Everything else has been in double digits. He had a 3.18 strikeouts per walk. But overall, before that, even that's still a really good season. But before that, he's year after year he's been phenomenal. 31 years old as of right now. Career-wise, 3.28 ERA in 384 games, 36 saves, 348 and two-thirds innings pitched, 123 walks to 422 Ks, 1.196 WHIP. His careers are 7.6 hits per nine, 3.2 walks per nine, 10.9 Ks per nine, and his walk to strikeout to walk ratio is 3.43. So he's had a stellar career so far. And so the deal that he signs reminds you a lot of like the deals that a lot of Mets pitchers signed last year, where it's 2-year deal with an opt out. They come back, they have a good rebound season. They come out, they pitch well, can pitch to what they did in the past, perhaps, or even better, and they can opt out and then go back to looking for bigger numbers, like a higher value of AAVs and all that good stuff. Again, money talk. And looking at some AJ Minter pitching stats, like fastball velocities was one thing that you can kind of notice. He used to be able to pitch in the high 90s, 97, 98, 96, around there. And over the last season and a half, it has dipped down to 94. And it's had some life. It has movement, but it's dipped a couple mile an hour. And, is that due to the hip injury or is there something else? I guess we'll wait and see and find out. But 94 out of the bullpen is still pretty good with movement. Lefty pitcher, which we're in dire need of a lefty there in the bullpen, a dominant lefty. He could be the setup man now for Edwin Diaz, or even in one of those cases like we had last season where Diaz missed a little bit of time because of injury or suspension, or he's just not cutting the cheese. You could always put Minter into that closer's role and still feel really good about it. So great signing for the Mets. Again, it wasn't Tanner Scott. Everybody in Mets land was hoping for a Tanner Scott. Wasn't meant to be. He ends up being a Dodger, and there we go with that. So then the Mets go ahead and they sign Jesse Winker. I don't remember if it was. I think it might have been a day later. I don't think it was the same day, but it was all pretty close to each other. They bring back Jesse Winker, which I've been a huge proponent of, and I've stated various reasons why, and it's not all, in my opinion, stat based. I feel like you need to have some sort of swagger and attitude if you're going to be a successful team. And I feel like Jesse Winker brings that to your team. He brings a little bit of a swagger and attitude that kind of gets under the other team's skin, and which can lead to mistakes. It also can lead to that team wanting to beat you that bad, where they kind of step their game up, and there is fallback to it. But that's the kind of guy I think Jesse Winker can be, and that's the kind of guy that he kind of was for us in the playoffs, late season and into the playoffs, where he had some huge at bats, huge hits, scoring some big runs, and that's kind of where I went with it. His regular season with the Mets, you know, a small sample size, but it wasn't great. Barring a few moments here and there, but the playoffs, it was very good. It was very good. So looking at last season, um, 145 games overall, 14 home runs, 58 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, 63 walks, 106 strikeouts, 253 average, 360 on base, 405 slug, 764 OPS. That's overall. That's with the Nationals and the Mets. With the Mets, only 44 games. Again, small sample size, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, 10 walks, 22 Ks, 243 batting average, 318 on base, a 365 slug, 683 OPS. Not great. Not great at all. But there were some issues. He was dealing with some injuries. And it's not always easy coming to a new team halfway through the season. Even though I do think he probably, I feel like he adapted well when he did come over. So I don't think that was the issue. I think there was some lingering injuries, and playing time. He was basically used as a specialty bat. Um, and then, DH played a little bit of outfield, but he wasn't an everyday hitter. He wasn't getting all those at bats that he was probably used to getting in Washington, and that's just where he was last year. It's just that's how he fit in, and he fit in well. And I didn't hear any complaints about it. To be honest with you, I didn't hear any complaints. I didn't hear any boo-hoos or anything like that. But that's where it was. So I'm happy to get Winker back. It gives you a little bit more outfield depth. Not a great outfielder, but it gives you a little bit more outfield depth. DH. You can look at him and possibly Starling Marte as your DHs right now. Looking at the Mets lineup as it's currently constructed, the way it looks like it's going to be, you have Lindor shortstop, Soto right, Nimmo left, Vientos. Again, I don't know why you would do this, but it looks like he's probably going to be first base. Winker, Marte, DH, McNeil, second base, Alvarez, catcher. And if Vientos is at first base, you need a third baseman. So it looks like it could be Brett Beatty unless something else happens. Bregman is still out there, but it appears that the Astros are kind of heating up with Bregman a little bit from a couple of the highlighted articles that I've seen recently. I didn't read them, but it says the headline said Astros still very interested in bringing back Bregman. Again, I didn't open it and read it because personally, I don't care. I don't care what the Astros do. I don't care where Bregman goes unless he goes to the Mets. Then I care. So that's my honest opinion on that. And so Beatty at third base, it looks like, and it's going to be interesting because you hear Beatty, you hear Acuna, you hear Mauricio, and you hear a couple different names that possibly could battle out for third base if Vientos has to play first base, and that's another thing. Winker has played a little bit of first base as well. He said he'd be open to playing first base. And there in center field we have Jose Siri, who we traded for from the Tampa Bay Rays earlier in this offseason. All right, so that's how the lineup's looking right now. Tyrone Taylor, of course, being an outlier there in the outfield as well for outfield depth. And then that leads us all kind of back to the main topic that's been in Mets land since probably most of last season. To be honest with you, most of 2024 season, that's all you heard about all season was are the Mets going to re-sign Pete? When are they going to re-sign to Pete? Pete turned down this. Pete turned down that. Pete turned down 50-year $10 billion contract. Whatever. Yeah, it's So many things were out there over the season, and Pete bet on himself, and it didn't quite turn out the way that he wanted it to, or he had hoped anyway. And that's the risk of betting on yourself. I mean, sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and it's unfortunate because I feel like Pete has put together a good career so far. A consistent, for the most part, career, and for it to be um, hedged up all upon last season, and finger pointed as look, he's on a decline. Uh, I don't get it. When I think decline, I feel like there has to be a bigger sample size. There has to be multiple years of decline, and like what's declining? All right, his strikeouts were up a little bit. Walks were steady. His average was up from the previous year. Home runs down, RBIs down. On base, I don't know if his on base was pretty close to what it was the season before. Slug was down. Obviously, slug is down. Your home runs are down and your power numbers are down and stuff. But I mean, I need to see multiple years of of decline. Now you look back to 2023, and you could say, well, that's where it starts. But I mean, with his power numbers, because he's a power hitter. That's where you look right away, and his power numbers were 40 plus home runs, 100 plus RBI, and which has been par for his career so far. The rookie season where he had over 50 home runs, and then the COVID season where I think it was like something in the teens. I don't know if it was like 16 or whatever, or 18. I'm not really 100% sure where it was, but that's a very small sample size. I think it was 54, 57 games. But yeah, I just need to see longer term to say it's a decline. Um, so and again, I say it every damn show. I'm going to say it again. I'm a Pete Alonso guy. I want the Mets to bring Pete Alonso back, and to be honest with you, I really don't care what it takes. It's not my money. What the hell do I care? And that's the one thing that kind of gets under my skin is this whole season since we've gotten Stearns as president of baseball operations and GM, whatever his exact title is. I'm not even 100% sure. Um, but the thing is, it's like Stearns is has built a good franchise up there in Milwaukee with a small market budget. What's he going to do with an endless amount of money from Steve Cohen? They got all this money coming off the books, and Steve Cohen said, apparently, or supposedly saying that you know the checkbook's open, and so the checkbook is open until it's not open. It's like why was the checkbook open? For Juan Soto for 765. Now I get it. Now don't. I'm not saying the Mets should not have gotten Juan Soto. It's a huge catch for the Mets. And it's not that I disagree with the 765 potentially $800 million contract that Soto signed. Because it's one, his age, two, he's looked upon as a phenom, as one of the best players in the league, a top 5 player in the league. So I get it. And that's the way the contracts are going now. Is he better than Shohei Ohtani? I don't think so. I'll stand by that. I don't think he's better than Shohei Ohtani. Why should he get paid better than Shohei Ohtani? And you could point that at any player that happens every season, uh, where this player at this position is getting paid this much. So then the next season, another guy at that position, he wants to get paid more than that guy. He wants to be the top paid guy at that position. And, whether or not he's better remains to be seen. So you look at Pete, and a lot of the rhetoric has been, is Pete better than this guy at first? Is Pete better than this guy at first? Then a lot of fingers point, no, no, no. Why should he get paid more than Freddie Freeman or Matt Olson or Bryce Harper or whoever? Why should he? And and I kind of agree with that to a point, but that's just the way contracts go. That's just the way you see it in the NFL. Again, different because there is a salary cap, but there's especially with the quarterbacks. You see one quarterback sign now. He's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, Well, then like 2 months later, another quarterback signs. He's the highest paid quarterback in history, even though he has no Super Bowls, and this guy has two Super Bowls, or this guy has six Pro Bowls, and this guy has three Pro Bowls. He's not as good as this guy, but now he's the highest paid quarterback because that team that had him felt like, well, we got to keep him around because he's the best that we have. And in order to do that, we have to make him the highest paid at his position. It just happens sometimes. Doesn't mean you're the best at that position. But anyway, that's just kind of like a long-winded ramble there anyway. And I'll switch that little topic over. Uh, anyway, so back to Pete. Kind of got off topic there for a little bit. Uh, when your owner says the the checkbook's open, and until it's not open, and it's not open for the guy that is a homegrown player. And I think that's one of the things that really bothers me the most is you hear one of the reasons why Juan Soto signed with the Mets is because of the family type feel, the family atmosphere. Felt like family. One of the reasons why Sean Manaea came back to the Mets because it felt like he really liked the family atmosphere last year. He really felt like a family. And so when your family member who's you know born and raised in the family is due his pay, due his new contract. And again, I get it. The reports are that he turned contracts down. He turned down 7 years, 6 years, 158, 160 million, whatever it was, back in 2023. There's reports of that. And it appears that it's probably true. He turns it down, and he fires his agent and hires Scott Boras, which is probably the first mistake Pete made. Turning down the contract was a mistake, yes, but I feel like the first big mistake he made was hiring Boras. I'm not a big Boras fan. I don't feel like he has the best interest um, in mind for his clients. I just feel like it's how can I get the most money for my client, and sometimes that's not in their best interest. You have to look at what team they're on and winning and all that other stuff. But anyway, um, but you say it's a family oriented team, family first, all that good stuff. It's a family atmosphere, but when your family member is there, with his hand out, can I have another cheeseburger? You're not giving him that cheeseburger. You're gonna give that cheeseburger to the neighbor kid that just walked through the door. It's gonna be staying with you for a little bit. It's like, I mean, I don't know if the analogy makes sense to you. It makes sense to me, and it's a really big bummer. It's a bummer that one, Pete's name is being drug around through the mud. It's a bummer too that the Mets name is being drug around through the mud. Whether Steve Cohen, who I do believe is a terrific owner, absolutely, and David Stearns. It's he's good at his job. There's a reason why he is where he's at, and just the mudslinging and the fan base is tearing itself apart over the money that our owner has an endless amount of, apparently, supposedly, is not there. Then well, we got to do what's right for business. Then I mean, I don't know if some of these contracts that we have on books are right for business. And again, there's also the I like because of the first finger you point at is Nimmo, Brandon Nimmo. I'm not sure exactly what his contract was. It was like 8 years, 160 or 170 million. Again, I don't remember exactly what it was. And so the finger points to that, that wasn't probably the best contract to sign, for Nimmo. But when he was a free agent, he went out and he got what his value was. There was teams that were, you know, putting bids in for Brandon Nimmo, and he brought that back to the Mets, and they gave him uh, what they deemed to be a good contract, and Brandon agreed. He signed and he stayed in New York, and homegrown player. And Jeff McNeil, I don't know, I don't remember exactly how his free agency went that same year as Nimmo, after McNeil won that batting title. But again, he went out there and came back with a value, and the Mets thought it was a fair price, or the Mets counter offered with what they thought was a fair price. McNeil agreed, and here we are. So I just don't get why we don't have the Pete Alonso contract done yet. And if it's just a matter of you know 10, 20 million or whatever, I just don't like it's not a difference of 100 million. I mean, I guess maybe it's the years. And maybe that's the sticking point. Is it the years? Like they don't want Pete long term? Is it that they don't is the AAV too high? Like there's ways to get creative. I know the last contract that supposedly Pete turned down had deferments in it, and whether or not that was turned down for that reason, I don't know. I don't know why it was turned down, if it was actually turned down or not. But I know Pete supposedly Pete came back with a 3-year deal with opt outs after each year, and I never really heard a dollar amount. The Mets counter offered with a 3-year deal, no opt outs. I think 60, 75 million, somewhere around there, and supposedly deferments in it. Again, it's all speculation. I don't know if it's 100% factual. I don't know if anybody knows it's 100% factual besides the people in that building, Pete Alonso and Scott Boras. You have one side leaking stuff out, you have the other side purposely putting stuff out. Because again, I said last back cave that I don't think the Mets leak anything. I really don't. If there's something out there from the Mets, it's out there on purpose, and I truly believe that. In past seasons, it was it was like a colander. Is some you drain the water from the spaghetti, and it's just shit was leaking out of everywhere. It was all sorts of rumors every off season or every trade deadline or whatnot. But now it seems like since Stephen Cohen has taken over, and uh, especially with Stearns there now, everything seems to be really buttoned up, tight-lipped, which is the way I believe it should be. And they if something gets out from the Mets, it's because they want it out there, and it's kind of you put stuff out there to kind of light a fire under the fan base's ass, and then that person feels the pressure, the agent feels the pressure, the player feels the pressure, kind of pressures his agent a little bit, saying, hey, what's going on here? I took 5 years to build my name up here, and now all of a sudden I'm being trashed. What's going on? And then that agent puts stuff out there, pointing fingers at the team, and a lot of times it's not factual. So you don't know what to believe. You have absolutely no idea what to believe, and it sucks. It really does suck. I can't wait till it's over, because it's just it's a sucky situation, and for everybody, for Mets fans that like Pete, for Mets fans that don't like Pete, that think Pete's overrated, or Pete's not worth the time, the money that other Mets fans think he is worth. All around, it sucks for everybody. We got a comment here. No, we don't have a comment. It's just a spam. And that's so not to get off topic here, but so I stream to Facebook, YouTube, X, and I stream to Twitch, and every episode I do, I get a Twitch a comment from Twitch, and it's what it is. Best viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space, blah blah blah. But that's what it is, and it's just spam. It wants you to buy viewers, and I'm not gonna buy viewers. What the hell is that gonna get me? I don't get paid to do this. Why would I put that kind of money out there just to buy viewers? And those viewers aren't real viewers. It's just so I can see a number and put a number out there. So, oh, hey, I had you know 1,500, 2,000 viewers, live viewers. Like, no, it's right now I'm at 57 live viewers, and I'm happy with that 57. And if I paid for 2,000 live viewers, I would still only have 57 live viewers. So it's stupid. I can't stand stuff like that. And I think I'm just gonna stop streaming to Twitch, because it's really it's annoying. It's annoying as shit. So anyway, I'm just hoping this gets done quick. I'm over it. I had so many different other things I want to say about it. I kind of calmed down about it, though. I get a little excited, and annoyed in um, my old age now. The ripe old age of 44. I get grumpy sometimes, and you know how it is. It's cold, and my fingers hurt and stuff like that because they're cold, and just I get pissy right away. There were reports that uh, Pete and the Blue Jays are kind of flirting with each other. That's kind of where I get the is the polar bear being cold with the Mets. Kind of play on words. Cold Toronto, Canada, the Great White North, all that good stuff. Polar bear Pete, get it? All right. So there's been multiple reports that the Mets and the Blue Jays are the two teams that are vying for Pete's services. Like I said a little bit ago, the Mets said they're out on Pete, but I don't know who really bought that. I mean, when I first seen that report, I was super bummed. But again, I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Mets fan. Uh, Superstar players leave, homegrown players leave. It happens every year. It'll happen every year after, and yeah, you can just throw names out all day about stuff like about players, homegrown players that left their original team and went on to different teams, and sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't work out, sometimes it worked out for the player, sometimes it worked out for the team, sometimes it didn't work out for the player or the team. Ken Griffey Jr. from the Mariners to the Reds, A Rod from the Mariners to I think it was the Texas, I think first. Yeah, from the Mariners to Texas, he got that big $250 million contract, never heard of and heard of before in all of sports, all of baseball and whatnot. Barry Bonds, Pittsburgh to San Francisco. You know, Mark McGuire, Ricky Henderson, the Athletics to wherever. McGuire went to St. Louis and Ricky went to where did Ricky go after the Athletics? I don't know. I don't know who was exactly after the Athletics. He played for so many different teams. But you get the point, right? You get the point. It happens all the time. So yeah, it is what it is. It's a business first and foremost. It's a business. It just sucks that you have I don't know if he's the richest owner in baseball. I think he is. It just sucks that you have the richest owner in baseball, and we're going to squabble over to him is just you know pennies on a dollar. It really is when you look at the grand scheme of things. With what he's worth and the amount of money that he has, it's not a lot, for him to go from let's say 70 million to 90 million or 100 million or whatever. You know what I mean? So the thing for me, it almost feels like it has to be the years. No, it can't be. It has to be the annual value. And again, it's you talk about luxury tax, and there's tiers to it and repeat offenders and stuff like that. So and again, I can't. I'm not good with numbers and figures, and I don't have them right in front of me to really go off on it. But just for example, let's say it's the Mets' third year of going over the luxury tax, a second tier or whatever it is, the Cohen line, and and so they get penalized for each year that they've been over it, and it multiplies by the tier and stuff like that. So let's say they sign Pete for $100 million. For every dollar that it's over that tier, they're being penalized, and I'm not 100% sure what the percentage is, but again, they might end up paying, okay, Pete's 100 million is okay, now it's 180 million or something, because of the tax to it. Yeah, it could be a lot more than that. I'm not 100% sure, but it's kind of what they're up against. They sign Pete, they're over that luxury tax again, and they're paying a lot more for him than what they actually signed him for. And that's just the business you're in right now. And that's how the Dodgers are creative with their contracts with the deferments and all, avoiding those tiers of luxury taxes and stuff like that. And I'm not sure where the Dodgers are compared to the luxury tax, if they are at a tier, over a tier, whatever. I'm not really sure, but they're creative with it. They're creative with their contracts. And one of the things with the Blue Jays, a couple reports yesterday. One that there was a report, I don't remember. I think it was it John Heyman put out there. Shit, I don't know if it was Heyman or not. put out there that the Mets and Pete or the Blue Jays and Pete Alonso are close to finalizing a deal. And then you seen another report from Andy Martino. I think it was on SNY stating that uh, the talks are advancing between Pete and the Blue Jays, but nothing is imminent. Nothing's on the cusp of any. There's not. They're not on the cusp of anything. And I was listening to Locked On Mets earlier with Ryan Finkelstein, and he was also talking about the Andy Martino. I don't know if was it a segment on SNY or if it was a an article. I think it was a segment on SNY. He said, but it was the term he used is that you know Alonso and the Blue Jays are on a 10-yard line. And my first thought was like, which 10-yard line? Are they on the 10-yard line where they got to go 90 yards for a touchdown? Or are they on the 10-yard line like they have 10 yards to go? And that it's a huge difference. But I also really like the analogies that Ryan was using. Like things kind of if you're a football fan, when you get inside the 10-yard line, things really tighten up. There's not a whole lot of room and which leads to mistakes and can lead to a pick six by the Mets going the opposite way. So who knows? It's you don't know what to believe. Again, things are being sprinkled out there to kind of nudge this thing along, and I just hope that this gets done sooner than later. Pitchers and catchers are to report just right around the corner here. We're almost in February, and I think what are we 3 weeks away from pitchers and catchers, something like that. So hopefully it gets done very soon, sooner than later. I can't handle it. It's overtaken Mets Twitter. It's overtaken Mets podcast, and it's all you hear about. And it's sprinkled in with signings here and there. Again, it's super pumped about AJ Minter being signed, lefty reliever. The Mets need pets. The Mets need bullpen help, and they got it there. And going back to that real quick. Still a couple other bullpen guys out there the Mets could look at possibly. David Robertson's still out there as far as I know. Brooks Raleigh. The Brooks Raleigh's an interesting one because he did tear his UCL, had Tommy John surgery. So when would he be ready? Would it be like halfway through 2025 here or near the end of the season? I'm not really sure. So I don't know what's going on with Brooks Raleigh. Ryan Stanek is still out there as well. I wouldn't mind them bringing Stanek back. I thought regular season wise, he had some okay moments, and he also struggled at times. In the playoffs, though, I thought he did really well. I thought he pitched good. So I wouldn't mind them bringing Stanek back for a little bit more bullpen depth. But the Mets are decent in the bullpen right now, I think. I don't know if they're good yet or not, but you look at the top few. Of course, you have Edwin Diaz. Now you have AJ Minter. Then you have you could say Reed Garage. Dednell Nunez. We'll see what he looks like again. Possibly Sean Reed Foley. Jose Buto. That's one that's really interesting to me. Jose Buto, because again, he came up as a starter. They put him in the bullpen last year. Regular season, he pitched very good until like the last few appearances. He kind of got knocked around a little bit. Playoffs got knocked around a lot. So, what's going on with that? Is he a bullpen guy? Is he not a bullpen guy? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Tyler McGill. What's Tyler McGill going to be? Is he going to fit into the bullpen? Is he going to, possibly, go for a starting rotation? The fifth or sixth starter? I don't know. I could see Tyler McGill in either way. I think Tyler, in my opinion, I think Tyler McGill would be better suited coming out of the bullpen, and Jose Buto better suited as a starter. But who the hell am I? That's just my thoughts on that. So yeah, so that's why I have Jerkson Profar signing with the Braves. That was kind of a big domino to fall there. Anthony Santander. It's just it's a funny name to say for me. I read it, and you think of the Santander Banks. I go to see a rock concert. I'm going to the Santander Arena. Then you hear about the baseball player Anthony Santander. It's like got a little flair to the end. I don't know. I think it's funny. I get a kick out of saying it. That's just me though. Whatever. I don't know. Um, but him being signed by the Blue Jays, uh, Vladimir Guerrero and the Blue Jays working possibly on a new contract to extend him out. Uh, that all that stuff affects Pete, and the Blue Jays are a team that possibly does not want to go over that second tier of the luxury tax, and if they bring Pete in, that probably would put them over that, especially after signing Santander and there's reports that they're possibly interested in Scherzer, and that's a name that kind of surprised me that his name was floated around the Mets a little bit as a possible starter option was Scherzer. And again, my thoughts. And if you ever seen the show before and you heard me talk about Scherzer, you know my thoughts and feelings on Scherzer. If this is your first time tuning into the Batcave, welcome. And my thoughts on Scherzer is I don't like the guy. I think he's a dickhead, but I still do think he's a good pitcher. I do think he brings good pitching to the table. He's not a number one anymore. Probably not a number two. He could be a number two, but sustainability and throughout a season, I just don't see him being a number two. I could see him being like a middle of the rotation kind of guy because he's still going to get you mid three ERA kind of stuff, and he's going to pitch big in big games at times, and at times he's not. We've seen that as Mets fans. We've seen him pitch big in big games, and we've seen him fall apart in big games. So it's that's something. That's something out there yet too. So all right. That's all I have for today that I want to talk about anyway. The Pete Alonso thing is, again, I had so many other things I wanted to say. I wish I would have wrote some of it down because I thought they were good points. But a lot of it was just anger and crankiness fueled, and nobody wants to hear that, right? Nobody wants to hear that. So before I check out, I a couple things I want to share with you. Be sure to follow us Out of the Box Sports, OOT Box Sports on YouTube and X. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on X at OOT Box Sports. Me personally, at the Batcave OOTBS on X. I'd appreciate the follow. I follow everybody back, just about everybody back. There's some accounts that follow me that are obviously they're obviously not Mets fans, and that's not even a problem. Because I follow a bunch of gamers or whatever, and they follow me back. I'm not a gamer, but I still give them the follow. They give me the follow. But what I say is they're like let's just say they're not baseball. They're not sports fans. You can tell. It's if you catch my drift, you can tell. Anyway, I don't follow those ones back. I know, and as soon as I see the profile pictures, like, come on, man, I'm like, what the hell is this? But anyway, yeah. So if you give me a follow, I follow back the Batcave OOTBS on X. And if you appreciate, I'd appreciate if you followed me on YouTube as well at the Batcave _ OOTBSE. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, the Batcave _ OOTBSE. That's where you can catch all my shows. I talk about the Mets, the Raiders, LA Kings. I'll be on tonight talking about the Raiders. I'm going to go for 10 o'clock tonight. Raiders just signed their head coach. We got our GM the other day. We just signed Pete Carroll today. I didn't see the contract details yet. I heard 3 years, and so that's official. So I got a lot to talk about tonight, and so be sure to check that show out if you're a Raider fan, if you're a football fan, or just curious, or you're a Bat Fry fan. You want to hear me ramble and mumble and curse occasionally. That's the show you want to watch. I mean, the Raiders have been an interesting team this year, and the Silver and Black Lair Las Vegas Raiders edition has been an interesting show. A lot of rage in some of those episodes. A little bit of spittle coming out of my mouth and veins popping out of my forehead and such. So it's been interesting. So I'd appreciate it if you guys followed all that, and yeah. And if you don't mind helping me out, go to www.dubby.gg and check out Dubby Energy Drinks and use my promo code for 10% off your order, The Bat Cave. And that's all one word, The Bat Cave. I accidentally deleted my banner here to show you what it is. I could type it in here real quick so you can see. But yeah, Dubby Energy Drinks is a jitterless energy drink. That's hard to say. I don't know. There has to be a better way to say it. And it's made with coffee fruit extract, and it's delicious. It really is. I just got a new flavor in today. It's dragon fruit plus strawberry lemonade. Yeah, dragon fruit plus strawberry lemonade. It smells fantastic. I didn't get a chance to try it. My daughter tried it. She mixed it with a smoothie, and she liked it. Even though she didn't ask if she can have it. So freaking kids, man, they don't care. So check out W Energy Drink. Let me put this up here real quick so you can see it. All right. There it is. www.dubby.gg. Promo code TheBatCave for 10% off your order. They also have they have a bunch of different flavors for energy drinks. They have hydration drinks as well. They also have shakers, swag for sale. They have sample packs if you're not sure. Like, I don't know if I'm into this. Because, before I became a partner with Dubby here, I wanted to try it out first because I didn't want to hawk anything that I thought was crap. And so I bought the sampler pack, which came with, I think it was 6 packs of the hydration packets and a shaker. So I tried it out and I thought it was fantastic. And so I wanted to try the energy stuff. So I got a tub of the energy drink. It comes in powder form with a little scoop in there, and tried it out. And again, awesome, great flavor. And like I said, it's jitterless, and it actually is jitterless. So imagine that, a product that actually is what it says it is, and all natural, and it's good. So if you help me out, I'd appreciate it. If not, thanks for the views. I appreciate that as well, and all that good stuff. And be sure to check out our good friend, your good friend, everybody's good friend, Jason Fine, J Fine Law, attorney Big Al. You can reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. His office in New Jersey is located in Cherry Hill on 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And he has 2 offices in Pennsylvania, one in the steel city of Pittsburgh. That's located on 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in the city of cheesesteaks and brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, his offices are located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jay Fine, attorney Big Al. All right. So like I said, that's all I have for today. I'll be live again in 2 weeks, and I won't be live next week unless something big happens or I have a thought pop in my head I want to talk about or whatever. Then I'll go live. But in the off season, we're getting close to spring training and stuff like that. I'm going to go every other week for the next couple of weeks, maybe for the next month, and lead up into the season. But as soon as the Pete Alonso deal is done, I'm going to go live that day as well. If the deal gets done at like 8:00 at night, I'm not going to go live because I got to go to work and stuff during the week anyway. If it's on the weekend, that's one thing. So expect it the next day in the morning, and yeah. So I appreciate everybody that checked the show out. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your brothers and sisters, the cats and dogs too, and I'd appreciate it. All right. That's all I have. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, let's go Mets.